Welcome back to Tiny Classrooms Live.
Hi, the doctor here, Don Zalou in Taos, New Mexico.
And the HR guy, Artie Nathan, here in Las Vegas. And our topic today is finding the right words in times of crisis.
That's a very important point. So one of the first things we might want to think about, Artie, is replacing long words with short ones. You know, a lot of times folks want to seem important and credible and they use very big words. The point of fact is exactly the opposite. Don't use complex language where simple language will do. And effective leaders in all times, and particularly in a crisis, speak in simple language, and simple means short. And this is especially true during a crisis.
I think you also want to find analogies to what you're talking about. You know, when you bring up these topics, people are less likely to listen if all you're talking about is what it's about rather than what it's like, because we have a lot of similar type experiences and people will tend to listen and associate things and understand them better if you use good analogies.
Yes, and as a general rule, great leaders communicate in a crisis in a very skilled way at finding analogies because they have to persuade people to act quickly and importantly. Maybe the next point we would want to talk about is personalizing the crisis. You know, the human brain is wired for storytelling. If you think about the Bible and we think about the Torah and we think about the Constitution and all sorts of other things, they're made up of teaching stories, aren't they? And really, it's only through these stories that our species, human beings, have been able to conquer the world and just about every crisis that's come along. And our advanced language skills, specifically our ability to connect with one another through narrative, allows for us to cooperate better than any other species, and analogies are the best way to do it.
Yeah. Talk about yourself in similar circumstances and people will tend to understand and agree with you.
That's exactly right.
I think also people should observe the rule of three
Yeah.
communicating. You know, you keep it simple is about words, but it's also about the number of words and the number of concepts. And if you give people three instructions,
That's right.
they'll probably remember them. But it's been proven that if you give them 4, 5, 6 or more, they'll tend to forget all of them. And so you want to focus people, you want to help them to understand what's important in this message and what actions you want them to take. So keep it simple and limit the number of things you're talking about.
Exactly. In a crisis, leaders who give fewer instructions, and we both know this, but more concrete ones are more likely to see people act on their words.
Well, these are tough times. And if we simplify our communications, and we've talked about this before, Don.
Yeah, we have.
Keep them simple. If we say what we mean and mean what we say, help people through by making sure that they understand. You know, we've talked about why words matter because they're intended to convey a specific message.
That's right.
And, you know, the effectiveness of your words is all about how people get the message.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And so we want to begin with the end in mind. How do we want people to understand what we're saying to them? And then we craft our message, choose our words, and our approach to that end in mind. And we're more likely to succeed then as a good, effective communicating leader.
Well, that's it for Tiny Classrooms today. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you back here again.
Thank you again. We'll see you soon.